You're listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, hosted by Joey and Holly Baird.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is on the air, and it's heard on WNOV 860 AM and W293CX 106.5 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, WWDB 860 AM in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WAAM 1600 AM and 92.7 FM Ann Arbor, Michigan, and KMET 1490 AM Banning, California.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to talk about community gardens and what and where you can look for one if you don't have property to grow on where you're living right now, and proper uses of cooking oil. There's a lot of different oils out there. We're going to go over which is best and what you can use them for. Plus, your garden questions. The hour's jam-packed, so let's get it going right now. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. So glad you've taken time out of your day to join us on the program. Whether you're in Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Southeast Michigan, or Banning, California, listening around the country or around the world via the simple radio app, the TuneIn app, or through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com underneath the radio tab, podcast replay, or in-studio video replay. Thank you for tuning in, taking time out of your day. I am your host, Joy Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
You can find all of our content at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, where there's over 1,500 garden videos of in-studio and in-garden video for your entertainment and educational purposes. You can get a hold of us in a variety of different ways, but first, the executive sponsor of the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is Power Planter.
Planting conditions are always favorable with the Power Planter Earth Auger. No matter what the job is, Power Planter has the right size for you. Simply attach to a drill and let the Power Planter do the work for you. Create planting holes fast and efficiently with ease. No matter the soil type, it does the job effortlessly. Increase your root to soil contact. Leave the shovel and the spade in the shed. Hand welded and made in the USA. We offer a lifetime warranty on product defects. Find the size that fits your project at PowerPlanter.com. They now have DeWalt drills on their site. PowerPlanter is now a distributor of DeWalt drills and offers 3 different drills to meet whatever need the customer might have. They also suggest what drills are recommended for what size auger.
Takes the guesswork out of your purchase, so you know you're going to get what you need and it will work for the job that you have. If you want to get a hold of us, you can do that. There's several different ways, and they all revolve around the IV Organics communication hotlines.
IV Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard naturally protects your plants against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents, protects newly installed plants and trees, shields prune and damaged surfaces for use on your roses, fruit and nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. This product is non-toxic, environmentally safe, and organic. For more information, you can visit ivorganics.com. You can send us an email anytime through the IV Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard email inbox. That email address is twvgshow@gmail.com. Or you can also send us a text on the Instant Access IV Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard Instant Access text hotline. That number is 414-368-9311. Again, that's 414-368-9311.
Yeah, you can jam your fingers in your phone and give us a text what your question is or your comment, 414-368-9311. We're going to go over the community gardens. Now, many people have a little plot of land possibly in their backyard or on their property, whether it's containers, raised beds, or in-ground garden, and they can just walk out their back door and garden. But there are many people who do not have that benefit or that luxury of having that garden or that means close to their home. So community gardens are a essential item for many people in very urban settings in order to grow a garden, whether large or small.
Okay, so yes, there are community gardens for people that maybe can't grow in their yard. But there's also different types of community gardens where it's a beautification project for the community. So it might be like at a park or near a library or a school where you can get involved and you can volunteer. And that's a different type of community garden that is something that you can partake in.
Versus what we are maybe conditioned to think of, a raised bed in a park with hundreds of other...
Yeah.
A plot, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or an allotment.
Yeah, what is the... And we hear this term in the European area, it's called allotments or allotment tiering.
Okay, so
what's the difference
typically
between...
is you are renting that space, but it's... Sometimes at a community garden, you might rent it per raised bed. So you might get like a 4x8 raised bed for X amount of money
per season.
Per season, and you can rent, I don't know if as many as you want to say, but maybe you want to rent 2 or 3 or whatever. An allotment, you're renting a portion of land. So
physical land in the ground.
And some of them you can have chickens on your allotment. Some of them you can put a shed, whatever. Most community gardens, if you're just getting the raised bed, that's what you have.
You're very limited to the items in which can be put on that property.
To use the garden.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the difference. And most times an allotment is much more larger square footage than a community garden may be. So let's talk about the benefits or what we need to know about.
So there's many reasons to join a community garden, especially if it is some sort of beautification project, or even just if you're there to grow 45 tomato plants. You can meet people, which is kind of fun. You might meet people in your community, other gardeners that you can
trade wisdom and knowledge.
Yeah, you can.
That's what people used to do before the internet was invented. We used to talk to each other, and if we heard a story from Uncle Jim or neighbor Bobby from 30 years ago, you could kind of take it a little more truthful because you knew the person and you kind of knew whether or not they were a storyteller or they actually told the truth, and here's advice in which you can use in order to better
and also,
have your
just
garden.
like, hey, by the way, my name is Jane, and I listen to this cool radio show,
right,
and you should listen to it too. And these people give gardening
talks. You should do that regardless if you have a community garden or not. Yeah,
right.
That's how we grow.
But what I'm saying
is a whole
is
other
that
story. But
it's also other information,
yes,
like information that can apply to your gardening.
Yeah, don't do this.
Skills.
Last year I did this for carrots and it did not work. That type of advice.
Right, and then also you can use a community garden. Maybe you have a housing authority, HOA, whatever, and they're like, no, you cannot grow vegetables, which is ridiculous. But
that's another conversation for
right.
another. Yeah.
Or maybe you have a spouse or a partner that's like, I really don't want you growing that in our yard. So then you can seek out a community garden, or maybe you just have a bunch of shade and you don't have anywhere to grow.
Right, and there are people who grow in their backyard and also own or rent a community garden plot. They have both. For a variety of reasons that we've covered.
I think it's kind of neat that people want to branch out and maybe try something and be part of a community. So there's many benefits. One is it preserves green spaces. It provides teaching opportunity for children. You can definitely, if you have children, it's
and these community gardens, as well as farmers markets, typically have a children activity area or a learning type of schedule of some sort.
It typically reduces crime in that neighborhood. There's been, I don't have the exact statistics, but if it's
there are reports that show
that it is a reduction of crime. It makes neighborhoods more beautiful. It's very environmentally friendly. It's going to increase pollination typically in the area because you're growing those plants that do pollinators like. It provides opportunities for all sorts of people to grow food, and it builds self-esteem. You're like, look at me, I grew this tomato. I'm excited. I'm proud of what I did. And
people may think, let's take your reference of a community garden, of a plot or a raised bed of a 4x8. That's 32 square feet. Now, many people, or a majority of people, may think that's not very much space to grow in. I need 100 square feet or 500 square feet, and that's simply not the case. If you have a raised bed of 32 square feet or 64, something in that nature, and you've brought in good compost to fill that bed, you can produce a tremendous amount, if not more, in that raised bed in that same square footage as you would in the ground, because the soil is the lifeblood of the plants. You've got good soil. You've got a good foundation for those plants to be grown in, rather than whatever the native soil is that you may have in your backyard. And it's easy to control, it's easy to maintain psychologically. Hey, I only have to do this instead of this raised bed, instead of this whole backyard of weeding or soil workage or tillage or whatever the case may be there.
Right. And I think another thing is it gets you out of the house. Maybe if you have something that's in your backyard, you're like, oh, I'll just deal with it another day. If you're paying for something it's not like it's a lot of money, but if you're paying for something and you've invested your time, you're going to continue to go back to it. Typically.
And the money thing is minimal and a very small amount for the return in which you get, not only for the production and the produce wise, but for the experience in which you are going to gather as well.
And you may think, okay, are there a lot of community gardens? I'm not really sure. There's probably not one in my area.
I don't see it online on TV.
I don't. Nobody's ever told me this. I've been living in this neighborhood for 15 years. You'd be surprised. I know, like, you and I see them a lot. We'll see what looks like community gardens when we're driving around.
And a community garden is not a one block size. It can be just a where an old house used to be, and the neighborhood has created raised beds, and it's a community garden there. It doesn't have to be what you may think,
like
or
an acres upon acres,
like a PBS style television program where you would think it's acres of hundreds and hundreds of raised beds. Those do exist, but for the normal everyday urban setting, it's a dozen here, a dozen there, not that many raised beds.
Right. So now is your time to research this, or maybe not necessarily now, but over winter, whatever.
Sometimes there is a waiting list for these raised beds and allotments, in which allotment tiering over in the Europe area, there is sometimes a 5 to 10 year waiting list in order to get the opportunity to have an allotment. And in some urban settings in the United States, there is a waiting list. You're hoping that, and about the only way sometimes you get a raised bed at a community garden or an allotment is the unfortunate of the passing away of a gardener, and then that goes up for reinstatement for a new ownership of that particular plot or garden. That's just the way it works.
Different type of compost.
Yeah. Well, but that's how it works sometimes. There's that waiting list.
Right. So you can find your garden through many things. Maybe your neighbors, if they don't know, that's okay. Co-workers sometimes, local university extensions.
You don't know what you don't know until you ask people.
And that's very true. Like, you might be sitting next to somebody who does an entire business and knows how to community garden, but at work, and you don't even know that. You want to check with your local university extension.
I don't know is the worst answer you can get.
Right. You can walk around your community, and if you see something, you can definitely look into that. Sometimes people at churches they go to church with somebody, they might know. There's a website called localharvest.org. If you've never been to that website, it has all sorts of information, anything from farmers markets to pick your own to getting CSAs, whatever. And there's also
great foundational website to start you on your journey to find basically anything you need in that realm.
Right. But they do have community gardens listed there. There's something called the American Community Garden Association. I had no idea that existed until I was researching this. So you can go there. Meetups, if you're not familiar with the Meetup app, you can meet people in your community through groups. There are community gardening groups on Meetup. And then just like sometimes your local garden center, maybe they don't know, but they can point you in the right direction.
Yeah. So if you've never had a community garden, if you've never had an allotment, if you're in the Europe area and you're listening, you can certainly find out what is going to work best for you in order to get the community garden or plot that you may want because you don't have one or unable to get one in or grow in your backyard. And it's a lot of information, a lot of great experience, and you can get a lot of produce, and you can trade with your other gardeners in your community garden. Well, when we come back, do not go anywhere. We're going to be talking about cooking oil, how you can get the most out of it, and what's best to use and what to avoid. If you're listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show.
Use Twitter to reach Joey and Holly at TWVG Show or hashtag TWVG.
Never question your garden soil again. Know what's in your soil with confidence. Professional grade soil test for the home gardener. My Soil Savvy has the easiest soil test on the market. Ship it to them, get your report, emailed with nutrients recommendation, and grow happy, healthy plants. MySoilSavvy.com. Use coupon code TWVG19 and save 10% at checkout.
Wisconsin Greenhouse Company has custom-made greenhouses to suit your needs. Grow fruit and vegetables all year long. Strongest greenhouses available that will last a lifetime. Beautiful design available in any size and color. weather-resistant, energy-efficient to save on that heating cost. Mix and match with glazings to suit your climate. Sturdy and durable, they'll hold up to those heavy snow loads. They'll even add them to homes. For agricultural to lodging to entertaining, it's a great addition to any garden or landscape. Check them out at WisconsinGreenhouseCompany.com.
Garden seeds do not have to cost a fortune, just 99 cents at migardener.com. Now with over 450 varieties of non-GMO, heirloom, and organic flower, vegetable, and herb seeds available year-round. Pay less and get more seeds. Shipping as low as $2.50. That just makes sense. Go to migardener.com for seeds and garden needs, tools, and special blend fertilizers. migardener.com. It's that simple. Family owned and operated.
Pharmaceuticals essential oils are high-grade, very pure, and high in quality. They have synergized blends made with the finest raw materials. For more information and to order, visit Pharmaceuticals.com.
Saving seeds can be easy. This garden tip is sponsored by BioSafe. Organic solutions that are effective. They offer an array of eco-friendly products, from plant food to fertilizer to one-of-a-kind herbicides, organic weed killer. Grow stronger, healthier with BioSafe. Visit biosafe.net to learn more and save 10% on your next order by using coupon code TWVG at checkout. To save your own seeds, first make sure the seeds in which you're wanting to save are of heirloom or organic variety. Leave the fruit on the vine to the point where it's nearly ready to rot. This will ensure the most mature seeds. Follow seed-saving steps that you can find online. If it is a variety that is easily cross-pollinated with other like varieties, it may be best just to buy new seeds.
Shield and Seal vacuum sealers and the highest quality vacuum sealing products, unique black and clear and all black bags, protecting your produce and product better than traditional bags. Find out more at shieldandseal.com.
Take the pain out of planting with the Pro Plugger 5-in-1 planting tool. Step, twist, pull, and you're ready to plant. Digs perfect size planting holes. Soil gets stored in the tube and empties from the top. Helpful for weeding. ProPlugger.com.
When it comes to bulk landscaping materials, Blue Mills Garden and Landscape Center is where everyone goes. Whatever the project, we have the materials you need with over 40 varieties to choose from. Soils, mulches, gravels, decorative stones, fresh cut sod. Blue Mills has these products in stock and ready for easy pickup or fast delivery. So what are you waiting for? Now is the time to get your yard back into shape. Stop in and pick these materials up or call us for delivery today. Nobody does bulk landscaping materials better than Blue Mills Garden and Landscape Center.
Blue Mills, 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Eco Garden Systems, Row Maker, Shield and Seal, World's Coolest Rain Gauge, Big Fats Hot Sauce, Chapin International, Drip Garden, Norwalk Juicers, Nunu Healing Ointment, Phylum Bioproducts, Soil Savvy, Tree Ripe. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Dr. Earth is committed to clean and healthy gardening through creating cutting-edge, natural, and organic-friendly products based on research and innovation. After 28 years, they are the leader in organic lawn and garden industry. They do not use ingredients such as biosolids or composted household waste or synthetic chemicals. Instead, they have manure-free fertilizers, organic soils, insect control, and liquid fertilizers. If you want to grow the best quality food organically to feed your family, that is the founding principles of what Dr. Earth is all about. They have experts to find the most innovative ways to help you grow your best organically. Visit drearth.com for more information and where to buy.
You maybe go into your kitchen and grab the first thing in which you need to put in the pan in order to cook, whether that's butter or vegetable oil or canola oil, and you use it because that's what you have, and you may not know any...
And maybe your family has for years, and that's just what you know, right?
Yes, and there's many different other options in which you can use in the cooking oil genre that may be more beneficial to your health and or for the item in which you are cooking in that pan. And we're going to go over some of these things that you may not be aware of.
So first of all, you want to think about your cooking oil choices and what you're going to use it for.
You go down the aisle, there's like 715 in which you can choose of all different kinds, shapes, and items that and it can get overwhelming in order to select what you want.
Right. So the first thing you want to think about is what you're going to use it for. If you're going to use it because you're just going to make yourself a nice, lovely salad dressing, then you're going to want something that has some flavor. If you are going to deep fry fish, whatever,
battered, covered,
and you want that oil to be hot, then you need to think about your smoke point, which I'm going to talk about in a second. If you're kind of in between, maybe you're just going to saute some of your freshly grown zucchini. That's different too. So smoke point refers to the temperature at which the oil starts to burn and smoke. When you cook oil that's been heated past its smoke point, you do more bad than good. First of all, it's not going to taste good.
Because you're killing the structure of that oil by overheating it. You're destroying the microbial or the cell walls and all. Well, not the cell walls, but the structure of it.
You're basically destroying the structure of it. You're also killing off some beneficial nutrients and phytochemicals. So you're killing off the good purposes of the oil, and you're also increasing what's called your free radicals. Free radicals are what ages us, essentially. Is what the scientists say. So you have to think about that, what you're going to use it for, and then think about your smoke point and how you don't want to overcook your oil or overheat your oil.
Overheat the oil. And we have multiple of these oils sitting next to the stove or on the shelf next to the stove. It's not just a one and done, this is what you're going to use. Some people choose that, but there, as you talked about, different tools in order for different cooking applications.
And with that being said, you also need to be realistic when you're purchasing this oil, because if it's something that you are only going to use maybe not a lot of, oils do go rancid over time. They do age out. You know you have rancid oil because you sniff it and it smells just kind of stale.
You naturally know something is off.
It just has a weird taste, weird smell, whatever. So you have to be aware of that. So if you're one person who cooks at home occasionally, probably don't buy 3 gallons of olive oil. Right.
There's multiple sizes here, and obviously it's cheaper to buy in bulk. But if you're only going to use it twice a year, and it's not worth the loss of item and the saving.
Maybe find a similar multi-purpose use oil.
So what are some oils here that we use and can use, and what we need to know?
So a lot of these are newish. For a long time there was not a lot of oil choices, but now they're becoming
last 2 decades.
More popular. So avocado oil, this has a very high smoke point because I think partially because of the fat that's in it. You can do all sorts of things from searing to frying, grilling, roasting, baking, even because of that high fattiness makes a good salad dressing. And it's got a lot of monounsaturated fat, which is good for your heart. I want to touch on butter. Butter is technically not an oil, but at the same time, people do saute their veggies in it and do a lot of heat cooking with it.
It's a pan sticking prevention item.
So butter has a kind of a mid-range smoke point at 350. So you don't want to cook it on super high heat.
Because it turns black and smokes and gets nasty.
Oh, yeah. It gets really gross really fast with too high of heat. So it's just best for like sauteing, baking, roasting, all that good stuff. But now canola oil, this is why I think a lot of people use canola oil for multi-purpose uses because it has that 400 degree.
Well, did you mention? I may have missed it. Avocado oils has a smoke point of 520 degrees.
Yep. So but canola oil is a little bit cheaper.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have the 400 degree, so that could be anything from sauteing, pan frying, baking. It has the monounsaturated fat, and also is high in what's called the ALA acid, which is the anti-inflammatory omega-3 acid. There's omega-6 and omega-3. Omega-3 is anti-inflammatory. It's very good for you.
That's the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So coconut oil, this has, so a lot of people think the coconut oil is like the end-all, be-all, use it for everything, it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. But actually, it has a lower smoke point than canola oil. It has a 350-degree smoke point, so it's very similar to butter. And that makes sense because butter is solid at room temperature or in the fridge. Same thing with coconut oil. So it does have, it does raise your it can raise your bad cholesterol, but not to the same extent as butter. I don't know if that's necessarily true. That's something you have to do some research on, but it does have the LDL cholesterol in it. So that's something to think about as you use coconut oil.
Many people will go to extra virgin olive oil because they think that is the best that you could possibly get.
It is to an extent. But it has to be extra virgin. You have to make sure it's authentic. If you're at the dollar store buying extra virgin olive oil,
El Cheapo you bought on sale, probably not the authentic.
Right. So you might want to go for a little bit higher price point if you're going to use that as your all-purpose.
You get what you pay
oil.
for.
Mm-hmm. And it has a good source of vitamin E in it, which is good for our skin. Vitamin E has many benefits, so definitely something to think about. So grapeseed oil is another good option if you're looking for a higher smoke point. Same thing, again, with the avocado oil and the canola oil. If you want something that's a little bit more multi-purpose use, definitely grapeseed oil. And
all of these oils add a certain mild flavor to the item in which we are cooking. Mm-hmm. So I want to make that clear. It does add if you don't like avocados, you probably shouldn't get avocado oil. If you don't like coconut, you probably shouldn't get coconut because that will infuse a slight amount of that flavor into the item in which we're cooking. Light olive oil. What's the difference between light olive oil and extra virgin olive oil?
It has a very neutral taste. So
very bland?
Just neutral. It's a nice neutral base. It's not. Extra virgin olive oil has that specific taste. You can usually recognize that light olive oil is more neutral. It has a higher smoke point than extra virgin olive oil, but not by much, just a little bit. And it's, again, good for a lot of different things. Now, peanut oil, that's what a lot of people use for deep frying. Mm-hmm. Has a higher smoke point.
And I'm not sure that if you have a peanut allergy, if that will...
That's definitely... No, you probably...
It will affect you. Okay, so you want to be aware. Mm-hmm. If you're going to change your dietary structure and you fear that it may mess you up, you would want internally you want to check with your local physician to make sure that it is okay for the transition from one dietary structure to the other.
I think if you have a nut allergy, you kind of know what is.
But these other ones as well.
Right, for sure. Another one that I use a lot is sunflower oil because it's pretty neutral. It has a higher smoke point, and I can use it for baking and sauteing.
It's the seeds that the oil is extracted from.
And it's usually a pretty good price point. So if I'm not using something like extra virgin olive oil, I do use a lot of sunflower oil or even canola oil. So you don't have to have like this whole shelf of oils.
Let's go walnut oil to conclude this up here, which is a new one that I was not aware of that existed, but I guess you can make oil out of pretty much anything.
So walnut oil has a lower smoke point. It's good for a lot of salad dressings and foods, usually over foods after cooking. So it's, again, one of those that are more on the lower, don't cook it, overcook it.
Don't burn the oil. Mm-hmm. So if you've just always used the standard oil, well, you can certainly, there's a lot of options out there for you. And summer is now coming to a close. It's nearly over, and all the kids are back in school. And the nights are getting longer and colder, and it's easy to forget about your yard, but that's one thing that we should not be doing.
No, we don't want to do that. We don't want to forget about those Japanese beetles either. They may be gone, but they are not far.
They're hiding.
Nope. Not only do they feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs in your turf so that they can start again next year. Take a stand with Phylum's Grub Gone. Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT granule that specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae. Simply apply the granule with a spreader, irrigate it into the soil, and let the naturally occurring bacteria do its job.
Not only is Grub Gone easy to use, but is the only non-chemical choice for effectively controlling grubs. And the favorite part, and my favorite part about this, is it is non-toxic to bees and other pollinators, and is and beneficials. It doesn't affect any of them. In fact, Grub Gone has no label restrictions for use around flowers, plants, so you don't have to worry about getting your hands dirty you don't have to worry about getting your hands dirty and on your knees to remove dandelions before applying Grub Gone from Phylum Bioproducts. The natural choice. That's Grub Gone from Phylum Bioproducts, PHYLLOM, bioproducts.com. Do not go anywhere. You can always get more information about the show, and you want to send us a question, you can do that through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. You can send us you can also send us an email, twvgshow@gmail.com. You're listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show.
Got a question? Email the show at twvgshow@gmail.com.
Power Planter is a family-owned earth auger manufacturer. The Power Planter Earth Auger will transform your garden experience. It helps homeowners and professionals complete almost any planting or digging project faster and more efficiently than using a shovel or a spade. Power Planter Earth Auger creates loose dirt when drilling holes, giving your plants better root-to-soil contact to help reduce plant loss for healthier, more beautiful trees, shrubs, flowers, vegetables, and grass. All of our augers are hand-welded and made in the USA, lifetime warranty. Find the size that fits your project at powerplanter.com.
Do you have a problem with deer or small herbivores eating your vegetation? There is a natural solution that is safe for your pets and family. Bobex is the answer. An environmentally friendly solution to protect your plants, will not wash off, and is guaranteed. Bobex Deer was independently tested against 9 known competitors and rated 93% effective, second only to a physical barrier. Bobex can be used on all types of ornamentals, trees, and shrubs. Ask for it by name at your local independent garden center. Find out more, visit bobex.com. BOBBEX.com. Spending time scrubbing pesky dirt off your hands after gardening? Use Workman's Friend Superior Skin Cream with added barrier protection, creating a protective layer on your skin surface, allowing for easy cleanup, all while moisturizing and healing your skin. Non-greasy, fragrant-free, and fast-absorbing. Apply first, get to work, wipe clean. This friend has you covered for whatever you're getting into. Visit workmansfriendbrand.com.
Beans and Barley Market and Cafe, a neighborhood specialty grocery store for the east side and greater Milwaukee area, where you can find all you need, from fresh produce to bakery to organic frozen dinners, from wine to fresh squeezed carrot juice. A health food store with hundreds of products, vitamins, supplements, bath and body items, magazines, cards, books, and a knowledgeable staff. Catering available, open daily at 8 a.m. The restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week with a menu of good, healthy, homemade food, including vegetarian and non-vegetarian specialties. 1901 East North Avenue, Milwaukee, 414-278-7878, and online at beansandbarley.com.
Do you want fresh produce delivered right to your neighborhood? Check out Tree Ripe Citrus Company. Find out where to pick up quality produce at tree-ripe.com. They have beautiful, tasty peaches and juicy, sweet blueberries. If you're tired of the non-taste peaches and the bad blueberries from your local grocer, Tree Ripe has what you need. They come right to a stop in your neighborhood, fresh off the truck, right from the source. To find locations and schedules, visit tree-ripe.com. They're in Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Illinois, and right here in Wisconsin. Tree-ripe.com is your go-to place for the freshest produce around.
The Handy Safety Knife is a patented high-quality knife that's worn like a ring, so it's always conveniently at hand and very easy and efficient to work with. That's why you'll find the Handy Safety Knife at work in a wide range of industries and applications. Learn more at handysafetyknife.com.
Use coupon code WVG to get 10% off and free shipping, one-time use only at handysafetyknife.com.
For many of us, Father Time is telling us it's time to start cleaning the garden up for winter. This Michigan Garden Moment is brought to you by migardener.com. With over 450 varieties of heirloom and organic flowers, vegetables, and herb seeds, all for 99 cents a pack. Find out more at migardener.com. For many gardeners, fall or late fall is a time of reflection and cleanup of the garden so it can be ready to present a new crop in the spring. Now, you do not want to swipe everything off of the garden and make it a bare slate right now. There are many insects that depend and rely on using dead plants as a place to live during the cold winter months. You can remove the diseased plants and the infected plants and dispose of them properly based on the type of disease in which you may have on them. And there are plants in which you can plant now, such as garlic or even a quick-growing crop as radishes. There are season extenders in which you can purchase or make of your own in order to prolong the life of the garden and what you already have growing in it. You can begin preparing the garden for next spring by bringing in fallen leaves from your property or the street or neighbors' properties, just making sure that they weren't treated with some form of toxicity of chemicals, whether sprayed or injected into the tree to control insects or bugs or diseases. Mound them up on the grow area 2 or 3 foot high, and then if they are still there in the spring, you can simply bring them back off the soil, plant, and use them as a living mulch. Get your garden ready for spring planting next year.
This Michigan Garden Moment is brought to you by migardener.com. With over 450 varieties of heirloom and organic flowers, vegetables, and herb seeds, all for 99 cents a pack. Find out more at migardener.com. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Ivy Organics, Power Planter, Root Assassin, Beans and Barley, BioSafe, Bobex, Pomona Universal Pectin, Pro Plugger, Standard Process, Tomato Snaps. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Today is the 4th of 4 Saturdays, the last Saturday for Blue Mills Landscape and Garden Center's Summer Market, where there'll be 40 vendors of food, crafts, music, and canned goods there, as well as, if you don't want to go for that, they have the largest variety of bulk material in the area with over 40 varieties to choose from compost to gravel to mulch and everything in between. Where can we find all this at?
You can find all this information at bluemills.com. You can stop by at 4930 West Blue Miss Road, just south of Layton and Greenfield, or call 414-282-4220.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Hallie Berry.
We going to go some questions here. If you got a question, you can certainly submit that at twvgshow@gmail.com. Had a number of questions come in this week, so here I'm just going to go through them here. What should I do? I've been doing. Let's start that one over again. What should I be doing this fall to prepare my area for gardening next spring? We just bought a house that doesn't have an existing garden, but a large yard and great sunlight. Should we break the ground now or wait till spring? It's a lovely black soil, but should we buy soil mix and work it in? Just grass lawn currently. Any suggestions? Thank you.
So you could definitely plot it out and turn it over right now. There's nothing wrong with that. You definitely would want to take your leaves and rake them and put them. If you turn that area over, take your leaves, put them on there. They'll break down. Just pile them on top of that bare soil, and then those leaves will help feed the soil.
Typically, what we would suggest, just flip that soil over. Don't remove the sod. Now, if you have a really thick blanket of grass, then you want to go ahead and kind of skim that grass off, throw it in the compost pile, and then work the soil in. But you can go ahead and get it going now and cover it with leaves, and that will greatly accelerate the time in which we'll take to get the soil prepped for the springtime. Next question. Susan writes in and wants to know, I'm looking for a good fertilizer to put in my garden beds over the winter so that the fertilizer can seep into the ground and it can be ready to use next spring. Can I mix things and mix it in right now? My beds are 2 foot wide, 6 foot long, and 1.5 feet high. Thank you for the help.
So you could add fertilizer now, but it doesn't really make much sense because
the benefits is going to be gone.
Right. So granular fertilizers last 6 to 8 weeks, the slow release. So if you do it now, you're going to have 6 months of it sitting there, and it's going to rinse out and wash out, especially with snow and rain and all that good stuff. So you'd want to do this as soon as you can work your raised bed. Organic soil, organic fertilizer. Yeah, do not put it in now. Now, if you're going to put a fall garden in, we can go ahead and do such, but you're going to waste your money. Wait until spring to do that. Let's see here. A question about protecting my tomatoes. I searched the web but didn't find anything. I saw tomatoes in mesh bags at the botanical garden. No one around to ask why this would be, and is it to keep the chipmunks away or to protect the fruit? I hate finding bites in my tomatoes. What would this be? She also wants to know if the color of the mesh would make a difference. This is for
pollination.
For pollination, pretty much.
In the botanical garden, they will put these bags to, once the fruit has been pollinated, most likely they will wrap the fruit and protect it so it doesn't get cross-pollinated again or that type of thing. Also, it will protect some insects from eating the tomato fruit. But like a chipmunk type of situation, it's going to gnaw through that netting, and the color would not necessarily make a difference.
Right. So also we have here a comment that came in. It said, Regarding recycling, which we did
From
last
Gabby
week.
Walkie on Twitter.
For pizza boxes, you can tear off the areas that are dry, like the lids and the sides, and recycle them. Don't toss the whole box. Also, we are encouraged to recycle styrofoam and bottle caps within her city. Everyone should check with their local rules. And I think we did mention that maybe you want to check with your local rules before you assume that you can
or can't
cannot recycle certain items. And thanks again. That came in from Twitter.
Yeah, you can always submit those at hashtag TWVG. Hashtag TWVG.
Another question we had here actually came in from one of my coworkers.
Okay.
She wanted to know, she goes to the farmer's market. She doesn't grow anything. She goes to the farmer's market. First of all, she wanted to know how long the farmer might be selling green beans for. And I told her that most of the time we will harvest up until frost. And then also she wanted to know how to store them to freeze them properly. And so what you're going to do is you're going to blanch them. You don't want to put the green beans in the bag and freeze them. You need to blanch them first. So you take boiling hot water, put your beans in there for about a couple minutes, maybe a minute or so.
I think we did ours for a minute or
like
90 seconds.
90 seconds. And then you're going to put it directly into an ice bath to stop that cooking. And then when you're ready to eat them, then you would cook them.
Put them in freezer bags and put them in quantities in which you'll be able to consume during a meal. Don't put 5 pounds in a bag and then go thaw, pull out, refreeze, because that's where you're going to get, it's not going to work out that way. These are a one freeze, one thaw, consume procedure. It's not a freeze thaw type of deal.
Right. So, and then this is kind of a similar question. They bought the yard and they just want to know about soil, or they bought a house. They bought a yard. They bought a house with a large yard, and they want to know about the soil, essentially what they should do, but they feel that their soil is a very nice black, dark soil. So we did suggest that possibly a soil test would be a good idea. Sometimes you don't know what's in your soil.
You can't look at soil and go, that's good soil, that's toxic soil, so that doesn't always hold true in that realm of possibilities. It's not a visual thing.
Right. So another question we had was...
What number are we on here?
We are on number 9.
All right. For you listening, that means nothing. For us here in the studio, that really makes things organized. Makes it much more organized for us. Let's see here. Go ahead.
The best way to cure and store potatoes for long-term storage.
Well, we're going to harvest some potatoes today in our garden. No-till method as well as the in-ground method. Potatoes can get some long-term storage out of them if done properly.
Okay, so you want to cure them first. And if you have the specialty potatoes like fingerlings, those are not going to cure and store very well. Those are like gourmet potatoes. Mm-hmm. So you want to eat those within probably a few days, maybe not.
Within a month.
Oh, yeah, within a month of harvesting them. But if you have things like russets, a lot of red potatoes, definitely you can store those and cure those.
And curing is a procedure in which a lot of produce, winter squash, for instance, it needs to go through a curing stage. What a curing stage does at the proper temperature, it basically thickens the outer skin in order to protect the inner portions of that particular item.
Yep. So what you want to do is you want to lay them out in a cool, dim room covered with a cloth or a towel to block out sunlight. So you want to lay them flat, maybe on newspaper, some old cardboard, whatever, just something that is flat, and then you want to kind of cover them with ideally like tea towels, like a breathable cloth.
Because light is bad for potatoes.
Right. And you're going to get some light through that, but some breathable cloth. And then you want to let that do that for a couple weeks. And what's going to happen is that skin will dry. Any small wounds typically will heal over. Not like gouges, but if it was like...
If that happens, use those. If you cut them with the fork or the shovel, use those right away.
Yeah, but like if it just has a small nick or whatever, that'll cover over. And new layers of skin will form where the outer layer peeled and rubbed off. Now, typically you don't want to like scrub your potatoes.
No,
but if you have chunks of dirt on it and you're going to cure them, you want to knock that dirt off.
Yeah, the clods. And the green potatoes, dietarily, those are toxic to your gut, so it's not recommended to eat the green potatoes.
Right, and that's why you don't want to give them the sunlight while you're trying to cure them.
That's right.
Because they will turn green. So then when you store them, you just want to store them in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight.
Let's talk about a little lawn care here. I've got some dead areas of lawn, and I've heard that you can seed the lawn in the fall is the best time. How do I go about doing this in order to reestablish those areas that have died in my yard?
Okay, so as a general rule, you want to plant your cool season grass seeds, and that's what most of us in the Midwest grow is cool season grass because we have cold seasons, cold hours, whatever. If you are in the desert or who knows where, I don't know what kind of
warmer areas,
you might not even be growing grass. So, but we grow cool season grass. So you want to plant this about 45 days before the last average frost date, and then you'll have your full fall season. Now, we are past that.
Here in the upper Midwest, in most areas.
Upper Midwest, yep. So then you can plant it in the spring as soon as the soil can be worked.
Now, the preparation in which we want to follow for this soil or this grass seed filler is we want to take a rake and rake out the dead area in which we're going to reseed. That's going to or thatch out. That's going to remove all the dead material out of that area. Then we can go ahead and seed. And if we do not have, if we are too late, like it is now, to seed in the upper Midwest, we can purchase sod and lay in that area if it corresponds with the rest of the type of grass in the yard. Now, if you have spotches of yard where it is very tilt and the grass is dead, you may also have a problem with grubs eating the root system out of the grass. So what you'd want to do again is remove that with a rake, that thatch it out, pull that grass out. If it just comes out very easily, then you have grub issues. Then you can put a grub treatment in the soil in order to kill the grubs, and then you can seed it there in the spring or in the fall to do that. See here, one more question before we go to break.
I like questions like these. This is my very first year gardening ever.
Okay.
And I like questions like these from like brand new gardeners because it reminds me of how much I know and how much I can, not like in a mean way, but how much information I can provide to somebody.
Helpful
way. There we go. I bought seeds from MI Gardener, but I have some seeds in my packets left. Do I toss these seeds? What do I do with them? Do I give them to the birds? Can I grow them next year?
You don't have to toss them. You don't have to feed them to the birds. Seeds are viable for many years if kept in a proper storage means. Crisper of a fridge, out of direct sunlight, away from heat. Seeds lose viability 10% each year. So over the course of 5 or 10 years, you're going to have very few viable seeds. But 2 or 3 years past purchase date, you're going to have no issue with the viability. You may have a few that don't germinate, but
for the most part, you're good for next year.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the seed viability. Go ahead and plant those seeds. And you may want to overseed possibly if you like lettuce, leaf lettuce or something like that. Plant a couple of more seeds than normal, and you'll have very good success. But don't throw them away. They're very good. When we come back, we'll answer more of your garden questions. Do not go anywhere. You're listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Submit your questions at twvgshow@gmail.com.
Send your questions in now to the IV Organics 3-in-1 Plant Garden Instant Access text hotline at 414-368-9311. That number again, text 414-368-9311 and send your garden question in.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar, honey, or any alternative sweetener you'd like. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Available at most natural food stores and online.
Do you seek safe, effective nutrition solutions to boost your health and quality of life? Standard Process is your trusted whole food supplement manufacturer with 90 years of expertise. Our third-generation family-owned company proudly grows nutrient-rich ingredients at our certified organic farm in Palmyra, Wisconsin, enabling us to produce high-quality whole food solutions that change lives. For help identifying the best supplements for you, find a local healthcare professional today at standardprocess.com/patients.
Flame Engineering, home of the Weed Dragon, the perfect propane torch kit for home and garden use. For killing weeds, no need to pull or spray. 100 other uses. Find out more at flameengineering.com.
Use coupon code WVG19 to get free shipping.
The number one key to healthy, productive plants are the roots. Starting from seed to full-grown plants, rootmaker.com has the answer. From seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots, creating a fabulous root system, never again will you have root-bound plants, to multiple gallon grow bag sizes to raised beds. Rootmaker.com has your grow needs covered. Visit rootmaker.com.
Here at Outpost Natural Foods, it's not just that we're community-owned that sets us apart. It's the fabulous foods we sell. We celebrate Earth Day every day by offering our customers the finest natural and organic food selections in Greater Milwaukee. Outpost local farmers and vendors provide our stores with a delicious selection of fresh seasonal produce that you won't want to miss. Outpost stores are located in Milwaukee, Wauwatosa, Bayview, and Mequon. We're a real Milwaukee original where anyone can shop and anyone can join. For the whole scoop about Outpost, we invite you to visit www.outpost.coop.
Root Assassin, a garden tool that does all the root functions with its advanced shovel that has serrated edges on both sides. Find out more information at rootassassinshovel.com.
The Norwalk Juicer is the best cold-pressed juicer on the market. Studies have shown the Norwalk Juicer produces 50 to 100% more juice than other juicers. And juice from the Norwalk is higher in minerals and nutritionally superior. Not only do you get more juice from your produce, but also better quality juice. Check it out at norwalkjuicers.com. Use coupon code GARDENTALK to get free continental U.S. shipping on the Model 290 juicer.
Blue Mel's Garden and Landscape Center offers an awesome selection of high-quality garden and landscape products. We have just the plants you're looking for: annuals, perennials, veggies, herbs, and more. Plus, you can always count on us to answer all of your questions and offer expert advice. Blue Mel's also carries the largest selection of bulk landscape materials in the area. Enjoy a beverage from our coffee shop while your kids run around in our huge playground. Join our growing list of highly satisfied customers. Visit the garden center that offers everything you're looking for. Visit Blue Mel's today.
Blue Mel's, 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Clyde's Vegetable Planting Chart, Dharmaceutical, Dr. Earth, Flame Engineering, Handy Safety Knife, Hydrobox, Wisconsin Greenhouse Company, M.I. Gardner, Outpost Natural Food Co-op, Rootmaker, Soil Diva, Blue Mel's Landscape and Garden Center. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Ivy Organic True and Plant Guard naturally protects plants against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents, protects newly installed plants and trees, shields prune and damaged surfaces on your roses, fruit and nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. This product is non-toxic, environmentally safe, and organic. For more information, visit ivyorganics.com. You can send us an email anytime to the Instant Access email inbox, ivyorganic@twvgshow@gmail.com, or you can send us a text on the Instant Access Ivy Organic 3-1 Plant Card Instant Access text hotline, and that would be 414-368-9311. Again, that's 414-368-9311.
As the questions continue, best time to plant fruit trees. Well, the best time is is late winter or is early spring, or you can plant it in the fall. So based on this individual, they got some sales on some fruit trees at their garden center and want to know if they can just go ahead and put them in the ground now or if they should leave them in containers all winter long. And, well, do not leave them in containers all winter long. They will die.
And you want to look up some really good tree planting tips when you do this. One is definitely you want to dig the hole big enough to fit the root ball and allow a few inches around it. You don't want to backfill it with compost, you want to backfill it with its own native soil.
Yeah, and here's the thing. And the traditional method, people will say twice the size of the pot, backfill it with compost. And here's the problem with all of that. One, if you dig it twice as wide and you put the root system in there, that root system is not, and you backfill it with compost, the root system is not going to go explore and establish a structured root foundation, because it has all the nutrients and the loose soil around that root ball, and it doesn't go. So when a big wind comes, the tree's going to fall over. If you keep it with the native soil and just as big as the root ball, as those roots explore, they will start going into the dense native soil that's around that system and lock itself into the ground. Secondly, if we are going to stake a tree, we do not want to anchor it down so a hurricane can't blow it away. We want to loosely anchor it, if at all. Typically, if you get a nice mature tree from the garden center, it's not been staked most of the time, and it's already got a structure in the stalk in order to support itself. But if you feel that it's necessary in order to stake it, you want to loosely stake it with a soft material, like a bike inner tube, a soft rope. We don't want to use metal wire to tie it into the bark, because it will grow into the bark and it will actually hurt the cambium layer of that tree. So that's some of the things you want to be aware of. Also, during our tree care tip this spring, the number one thing that all tree planters need to do before they plant a tree is, one, know how tall that tree is going to get, and two, look up before you plant the tree.
Yeah, know how wide the canopy of that tree
I'm going to put it right beside the house. Well, now your tree is going to be part of your house, because the canopy gets 30 foot wide in 15 years, and you're going to cause a lot of structural problems.
You're going to have a tree roommate.
You're going to have a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. So there it is. You can go ahead and plant it now, water it in, get it in before the ground. If the ground is frozen, you're too late, because you need the soil to be pliable enough for those roots to get in. You want to remove that burlap or the wire mesh, tease the roots out, and then plant it, and make a little valley or a pool around the root system, a divot, so you can water, and the water, you can get that system very hydrated. All right, next question about bleach and creeping Charlie.
Yeah, so this is actually another one of my coworkers. She bought a house from one of her family friends, and her family friend just said, FYI, to get rid of the creeping Charlie, I would just dump bleach on it.
Which is nice that information was shared.
Yeah. So my coworker, being a busy woman with some little kids, she was like, I don't know if I want to deal with that. And I said, yeah, I don't know the exact problems, how long it might take for that bleach to dissolve, and maybe you could do a soil test. But she ended up growing in some 5-gallon buckets and raised beds and whatnots, which is good. But if you do have that situation where you're not sure about the soil, or maybe the previous homeowner said, I've been just doing this,
or the previous homeowner never told you anything,
right? You could definitely get a soil test, and I think a lot of people they kind of think soil tests are a pain or whatever. But
low cost, great information.
Yep, and it's something that it's worth the money.
Because if you're putting in a garden and you continually have issues of the plant dying or getting some type of reaction to whatever's in the soil, you've put a lot of time and effort into this procedure, and nothing is going on. So you need to know what is in the soil. And again, like we talked about earlier, you can't look at the soil and go, hey, that soil has XYZ in it. So you want to be aware of what's going on beneath the soil. How can I propagate blackberries? I have quite a few. I'd like to expand my grow area. Okay. Growing blackberries from cuttings is very easy. It's really, really simple to do. Here's what you want to do. You would want to take about a 4 to 6 inch cutting of the cane or the cane stem, and then you want to place it in a moist peat moss or sand mix, sticking them in a couple of inches and keeping that moist, keeping it out of direct sunlight. Now, some people will say you'll want to use rooting hormone to help stimulate the growth of these roots in which you're going to be developing. You don't have to do that. Just keep it in a shady location. In about 3 or 4 weeks, you should be able, or you should see roots start to develop on this. Now, we've got some in a mason jar sitting on a windowsill. There's 14 cuttings in there. I took 6-inch cuttings off of the wild blackberry plant, which was next to the woods, and shoved them in about an inch or so, moistened the sand to keep it damp, and I removed all of the leaves, because what occurs whenever you take a cutting is that plant is going into survival mode. And if we can remove all the leaves and leave the stem or the cane, it will basically kind of all start growing again at one time. It will start putting roots on, it will start putting external growth on, and then you can go ahead and place it in potting soil or place it in a planter or in the bed in which you're going to take and start establishing growth of new patch on. So that's a good, easy way to do that. You can do that right now in the fall time of year and get ready for spring. Now, these may not grow, have a lot of production the first year, but you can get them established on your grow bed. Next question about pears. My pear tree makes very juicy, but a little on the tart side pears. This is what I love. I pick them before they fall. I would like to juice and store them with their tartness, yet some sweet flavor intact. Any advice? What would you do? I appreciate the information. Well, as long as you don't add sugar to the juice, the flavor should stay relatively to that tartness in which you like. It's whenever you start making that syrup and adding sugar to the mixture, that's when you're going to change the property of tartness to sweet, and not, some people like it, some people don't. Before we get into what's coming up next week on the program, Holly, remind them about the executive sponsor.
The executive sponsor of the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show is Power Planter. Planting conditions are always favorable with the Power Planter Earth Auger. No matter what the job is, Power Planter has the right size for you. Simply attach to a drill and let the Power Planter do the work for you. Create planting holes fast and efficiently with ease. No matter the soil type, it does the job effortlessly. Increase your root to soil contact. Leave the shovel and spade in the shed. Hand welded and made in the USA, we offer a lifetime warranty on product defects. Find the size that fits your project at powerplanter.com.
Tune in next week to the program. It will be our 100th episode, third season, 100th episode of the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show. We'll be talking about what to do with your apples and pears you're getting off your tree. Yeah, we can make pies, we can bake with them, but there's some other options as well. Plus, fall tree care tips for you. And in studio, author Renee Andrews will be with us. Plus, always your garden questions. That's next week on the program. Do not miss it. Tell your friends and your family to tune in. It's always a great hour to have all of you with us. Miss any portion of this program or want to revisit it in its entirety or past programs, there's a couple of ways in which you can do that. You can go to your favorite podcast providing website and search the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show or Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener podcast. You can find it there. Or you can go to our website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and click on the radio tab or the highlight tab on the main page to catch all past episodes of this program and segments of each program that we do. Until next week, for Holly Baird, I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.
You have been listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show. Tell a friend and join Joey and Holly again next week so we can all grow together. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show is a production of the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com in association with WI Garden Media Broadcast live from the WNOV 860 AM and the W293CX 106.5 FM. Courier Communication Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.